Hello everybody, my name is Stupid Ninja, and today I'm going to show you part 1 of LEGO G1 Optimus Prime version 4. Next video will be part 2, where I show you guys how to actually build this.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall. I am Optimus Prime.
The 1987 Marvel Transformers Universe book tells us that, quote, if he, Optimus Prime, had been on Earth, he would be a doctor, a mechanic, a scientist, and a warrior. But on Cybertron, there is no difference between these professions. So Optimus uses his skills to heal and repair, which are the same thing to Autobots, to improve the world around him, and, if necessary, to fight. Both in power and intelligence, he has no equal. He has the personality of an Abraham Lincoln. He can be immensely kind, and his compassion extends to all that lives, including the creatures of Earth. Yet he will battle unceasingly to protect the weak and defend what he believes in. To accomplish this, Optimus knows that the Decepticons must be defeated for all time. End quote. I think that summarizes his character extremely well. Optimus, to me, is everything America was founded on and everything America continuously strives to be. In robot mode, Optimus is a vast storehouse of knowledge and strength. He can lift 4 million pounds, and a blow from his fist exerts a force of 12,000 pounds per square inch. He carries a laser rifle that can burn a hole in the nose cone of a Decepticon jet fighter at a distance of 30 miles, aided by his outstanding visual acuity. To again quote Marvel's Transformers universe, otherwise, the only weaknesses he could be accused of having is being too compassionate and concerned about the safety of others. He would be a more effective military commander if he were more ruthless, but then he wouldn't be Optimus Prime. End quote. I absolutely love what was written here. The Marvel Comics were the first appearances of the Transformers anywhere in media, releasing shortly before the cartoon, yet both understood the character of Optimus Prime and what he is at his core. Be strong enough to be gentle is one of my favorite Peter Cullen quotes. For those who don't know, Peter Cullen was the original and current voice of Optimus Prime. I feel that this perfectly describes Optimus Prime in just a few words. I know I've gone on long enough about the character of Optimus Prime, so let's get into the build. For quite some time now I've been thinking about what the best way was for me to build this guy, so I can safely say that this is possibly the best Prime I've built to date. First things first, I'll get into some vehicle mode comparisons, then I'll move on to the transformation and robot mode comparisons. Setting Optimus Prime off to the side, here he is compared to a minifigure. And I absolutely love the scale here. He is pretty much perfectly in minifigure scale, as you can see right there. And I just love how that came out. Now here's Generation 1 Optimus Prime compared to Bumblebee Movie Optimus Prime version 2, which is a build I have yet to make a video about. There is that. Now here is G1 Optimus Prime compared to Siege Optimus Prime. The truck modes are pretty much the same size, which I love. So there you have that. Now here is G1 Optimus Prime compared to Bumblebee Movie Optimus Prime. Obviously it's basically the same scale as last time with the Siege Prime. So there you have that. Now before we get into the transformation, there's just one or two things I want to talk about with the vehicle mode. That being the fact that this thing is completely studless other than the trailer hitch back here. Also, this truck mode rolls. And, as a bonus, the head is completely covered up back here, and the joints are completely covered up in the cab. And one more detail is that the front of the truck is actually pointed, unlike my other versions. With that all being said, we can get into the transformation. Let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is take this trailer hitch and rotate that around, just like that. Then take these two panels, flip them down, and slide them apart, just like that, and that will reveal the face right there. Now take these two panels up here, fold those up. Now you can come to the front, open the windows, which will reveal a matrix of leadership, which is awesome, but I will get to that later. Now you will take these bumper plates, those will just rotate down. Now you can take these red panels and slide them down, just like that. Now you can take this entire thing and unpeg it and fold it forward, just like that. It doesn't go very far, but it goes far enough. If you pop the matrix out, it will fold all the way up. Now you're going to want to take the arms and just flip them out. Just kind of rotate at the elbow there, and then just rotate the arm out as you normally would on an Optimus Prime figure. Just like that. And now, what you're going to want to do to finish the arm transformation is flip this piece down so it kind of covers up the back of his arm there. Then come around to the front, fold the hand out, rotate it around so that's the correct orientation, and then come around to here and flip this piece down at the actual clip itself, and then rotate it down onto the bottom of his arm so it kind of fills out his arm. Okay, and that is the finished arm. Now you can do the other one, and it's basically the exact same thing. And that is both of these arms complete. Rotate this piece, this will just slide out and then flip around and then push back in, and that is the head for now. Now come down here to the legs, split them apart just like that, and then you can rotate them there, flip this knee panel right in, it will snap into place. Just do that on both sides. Now that you folded these plates in, you can come around to here, take the wheel and just pull it out like that, then rotate the foot and fold it down. It might push on this plate a little bit when you do that, so just pop that back in and then pop the wheel back in just like that. And there you have one completed leg. Now do the same on the other side. And now that you got the legs done, you can just pop those down and I can raise the camera. Now what you're going to want to do is rotate the waist around like that, and then that will tab in right there onto the front of the cab section. Now you can close up the windows, just make sure everything's nice and tightened down so nothing breaks. Now take these panels, those will slide back up and fold in, and then these will rotate back up just like that to fill out the body. So just do that on both sides, just slide those up, rotate them in, then flip that up. And there you have his body all done. Now for the head, it's pretty simple. Rotate it around like that, and then flip it into place. Fold these antennae up, and you get a very nice looking Optimus Prime head. It's not sticking too far out of his body. And now you can come to the back here, take these two wheels, rotate them, and put them in place on his back. That way they just kind of flatten and hang out there in the back and look really nice. And that is the transformation. Here is Optimus Prime in his robot mode, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love the way this thing came out. I think it looks perfect. It's super smooth, much better than my previous version. A few things to note with his design here is that it's supposed to be the cartoon colors, and in the cartoon the stripe here was gray and the grill and legs and bumper section was all white. That was to emulate silver, obviously, so that is what I did here. I made the stripe gray and the waist white. And of course you'll notice that the legs do not have the gray panels, instead they have blue panels, and that is again because in the cartoon they were not gray, they were blue, and that is why I did that. Now I will get onto the accessories, and then we can talk about articulation. First accessory that you already saw is the matrix of leadership. And the chest just opens right here, and the matrix just sits in it right like that. You can pop that out just like this, if I can get it. There we go. And here is the matrix. It's very simple, just a 1x4 hinge with 2 clips, a jumper, and a stud right there. You can hold it very well, which I will be showing later. And yeah, that is the matrix. I think it looks pretty good. Now you can close that up and just pop it back into his chest. And now we can show my favorite accessory for this guy, his gun. I'm really bad at building Lego guns, and I think this is possibly the best one I've ever built. And yeah, it's really tough. It won't break very easy, which is nice. It's all black except for that little bit of blue. And it works really well in his hand and looks really good when he's holding it, which I will do now. It just secures to his hand with these 2 little studs there, right to the inside of his hand. I really love how that looks. think it looks awesome. Popping the hand and the gun off, you can actually attach his axe. And this is my first time building an axe, and I think it looks awesome. I really do love this axe. And it just pops on to that hinge right there and looks really, really cool. And you can get some pretty cool poses with this thing. Getting into articulation, obviously his head rotates side to side very nicely and looks up. And you can get a downward motion if you kind of mistransform his neck there. You can get him looking down. Then his shoulders obviously move forward all the way back. He can do a 360 with his arm. They move out that far. You can replace these 1x3s with just a 2x2. Then his arm will move out just a bit more. He has a 90-degree bend. It doesn't go any further than that. And then the wrist folds in all the way and has a rotation. In the waist, he does have a rotation. You just have to kind of pop it apart here. But you don't really need to. Sometimes to get his legs moving forward more, you can do that though. Speaking of the legs, they move forward that far, back that far, and out that much. He has a lot of articulation in the knee, which is weird. First bend, second bend. He can basically touch his butt with his leg, which is kind of funny because that's a lot of articulation for one knee, and it's just because it sits like that. So it does a really good job of hiding the joint when he's not moving, and then moving when it needs to move, which is nice, and it stays too, which is cool. And then at the foot here, it rotates down, up, no real ankle pivot, which is really sad, but then he has these stilts back here so he can stand a lot better in robot mode. And that is all the articulation this guy has. Definitely the best Prime I've made in my opinion. That is pretty much everything I wanted to talk about with his robot mode, so now we can set him aside and get into some comparisons. First of all, here he is compared to a minifigure. And yeah, I love this size. This is about how tall he was next to a person in G1, and I love the scale going on here. I think it looks awesome. Now we can compare him to Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime version 2, which I am not going to spoil the robot mode of just yet, but obviously he is much taller than this guy. Now here is G1 Optimus Prime compared to Siege Prime, and even though they were scaled in vehicle modes, my Prime is much taller than the Voyager Siege Prime. There you have two G1 Primes standing next to each other, and it does look great. Now here is Generation 1 Optimus Prime compared to Bumblebee movie Prime, and I mean, not much to say here. This figure is amazing though. And now here is G1 Prime compared to G1 Prime. And as you can see, I think I got everything pretty down pat with this guy. Tried to do as much as I could in terms of color correction and stuff to make him as accurate as possible to Generation 1. With that being said, that is the end of this video. Optimus Prime is possibly my favorite character of all time. From his red, white, and blue design to his philosophy and values, everything about his character just screams America and heroism. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching. Happy 4th of July, and I will see you all next time.
But you saved our lives. We're Autobots. We're from Cybertron.